All right, all right. What's up, wealth builders? Most people believe something about real estate investing that isn't actually true. They believe the person who buys the property is the one who had the money. But in reality, a lot of deals happen because different people bring different pieces to the table. One person brings the deal, one person brings the capital, one person runs the project. And when those align, deals actually happen. Tonight, we're talking about something that completely changes how people think about investing in real estate, how investors raise capital, specifically the difference between private lenders and private partners, because most beginners confuse these two. And in a few minutes, I'm going to explain the biggest mistake people make when trying to raise private money. And it's the reason many people repel investors without even realizing it. Welcome to Wealth Builder Wednesday. Every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. East, we break down wealth building strategies in a way that actually makes sense. No hype, no shortcuts, just structure. Tonight, we're talking about capital. Do me a favor before we get started. Click that subscribe button, like this video, and drop a comment saying what's up so we know that you're tuned in because money talk should always have your ears wide open. All right, y'all. So before we go any deeper, let's define something very clearly because the phrase private capital can sound very complicated, and it's really not. Private capital just means money from people, not banks. So that could be a business owner with extra cash, someone with savings, someone with retirement money, or someone who simply wants better returns than their money is currently earning. How many people do we all know right now that could use better return on their money? How many people do we know right now that are getting no return on their money and they're the only ones working hard, not making their money work for them? So many people, guys, meaning that there's opportunity all around us. Private money is people money, structured properly. That's an important part about it, and we're going to dive into that today. Okay? So let me give you a quick example. Imagine someone has $100,000 sitting in a savings account earning 1%. I'm not excited about the 1%. If you were to offer them a secured opportunity earning 8%, that's private money. You're not asking for a favor. You're offering an opportunity. There are so many people that don't have real retirement plans or any real security. We do have a security stack that you can download to see where you fit in that funnel so that you can start making decisions for your future and your family. Let me tell you something that surprises people when they first enter this space. Many deals happen because someone simply recognized an opportunity before someone else did. They didn't necessarily have the money themselves. And I think a lot of people get that mixed up. They think that they have to have the money, the deal, the property, the know-how. All you need is a piece of the puzzle. People who know how to connect the pieces of the puzzle, the opportunity, the capital, the execution, those are the ways that deals actually happen. All you have to do is align those three things: opportunity, capital, and how you're going to execute. And a deal can happen. You don't have to have all three. You just need to know where the other pieces that you don't have are. All right. And y'all, I know this is real because this is exactly how I got my first buy and hold property. And this is where understanding the difference between lenders and partners becomes really important for you and your business. So we're going to start with private money lenders. Let's talk about private money lenders first. Okay. So a private money lender is someone who provides capital to a deal, but does not own the project. So they are not running the property. They aren't making the big decisions. They are simply lending money in exchange for a defined return. How many of you all have heard of passive investors? People that just want to lend the money, but they don't want to be involved in the day-to-day operations. I know that might sound crazy, but there are so many people that love being private money lenders. This can look very similar to how a bank works, but instead of a bank providing the loan, a person does. It's literally the same thing. Sometimes we get so caught up in going the traditional route and using financial institutions for everything that we do that we don't even think outside of the box about maybe I know someone that wants an opportunity to earn a return on their money to help them get closer to their retirement goals, to help them be closer to retirement in general. So we don't always have to go to banks for money, y'all. I guarantee you, you know people right now that have money sitting in their account, and it's usually the people that you least expect. Okay, so a private lender might lend 100,000 toward a property purchase. In return, they receive interest payments, maybe 8, maybe 10, maybe more, maybe 8% or 10% or more. Whatever the terms you both agree on is what the deal is. And do not forget to get this in writing, especially for my people that want to be private money lenders. Protect yourself. Do due diligence because both parties have to be in alignment and both parties have to conduct research and to make sure that it's a good opportunity. Okay, because there is risk involved in being a private money lender, just like anything else that you do. Do not jump right in without conducting due diligence. Okay. Many people prefer private lending because it can create returns without managing properties. How many people hate toilets and late night phone calls? This girl can't stand them. All of my investments are passive. Even though I'm an operator, I still have people in place that handle day-to-day operations because I don't enjoy that part. But there are some people who love managing and operating the properties. Okay? Here's the biggest mistake beginners make. They think raising private money means convincing someone to give them money. Never, ever beg anybody or convince them to give you money because it's usually going to be a horrible experience for you and them. I only do deals with people who want to do deals with me, with people who know how to see opportunity. I'm not begging anybody for money. I'm presenting an opportunity to them. And guess what? The opportunities we have are scarce. So when I present an opportunity to a private money lender, they're grateful that I thought of them and reached out to them because they know that our team takes care in the properties and the things that we invest in, and we conduct a lot of due diligence and we say no to a lot of deals. So make sure that you're going to be an operator or a deal finder with integrity before you ever go and ask for anyone's money. But again, private money lenders, I want you to hear this. You must conduct your own due diligence or you're just as much at fault as the operator. Okay? So again, guys, do not go out there begging people for money. You are the prize. This is an opportunity. Okay? So private lending works when it's structured clearly and responsibly on both ends of the transaction. Now, here's where things get interesting because sometimes investors don't want to be lenders at all. Sometimes they prefer to be partners. And the reason why can completely change how deals are structured. In a moment, we're going to break down the difference and why many experienced investors actually prefer partnerships. A private money partner is different from a private money lender. A partner doesn't just lend money. A partner participates in the deal, whether it's doing great or whether it's doing terrible. Partners participate in the upside and the downside. So really, between being a lender and a partner depends on that person's risk tolerance and also what their goals are. What do they want out of this particular opportunity? And we have been private money partners on deals because it was such a great opportunity. It made more sense to partner than to be a lender. But it also depends on the person that has the money. Okay? So a private money partner might look like one person, a private money partnership might look like the one person finds the opportunity, one person brings the capital, and one person or both of those people that are already in the deal decide the roles and who's going to manage the property and who does what. I cannot stress enough, if you're doing a private money partnership, that you need an operating agreement in place so that everybody knows exactly what their role and responsibility is when it comes to facilitating and making sure that you stabilize the property. Okay, so without that, things can get very muddy and partners can get pretty upset if things aren't handled in a proper way. Okay. So each person has to contribute something valuable when it comes to a partnership, and the ownership is shared. Okay, so this could be a major opportunity for someone who doesn't understand how to conduct due diligence, doesn't understand how to underwrite, doesn't understand how to find opportunities on their own, or has a full-time job, is super busy, and doesn't have time to learn how to invest in real estate, but they still want a return. So, with as a private money partner, if you bring the money to the deal, you get to earn while you learn, and you get benefits from having ownership in the property. Okay? So this is where a lot of people realize something important. Doing everything alone is incredibly difficult and almost impossible to scale. How can you grow being a one-man show? Alignment is powerful. Every single deal that I own, every buy and hold, I have multiple partners on each deal. Why is that? Because I came into the real estate business knowing that I want a massive portfolio. And a massive portfolio doesn't necessarily mean 100 properties. It can mean one property with 1,000 doors. So again, another mindset shift. When you get into this space as a private money lender or private money partner, it gives you the authority and the power to learn and be confident in what you're doing. All you have to do is hire someone to analyze the deal, run it by your attorney, run it by your financial advisor, get feedback from someone else that's a third party that's in real estate before you lend on the deal. Consult your real estate attorney from the title company that you work at. Do you think this is sound? You have plenty of ways. You can even use ChatGPT and AI, and it'll tell you all the risk, all the questions you need to ask the operator. With AI, there is nothing we can't do to move ourselves forward when it comes to information and knowledge. It's changing the game. So stop making excuses as to why you may or may not be able to do something and find a way to where you can. Maybe you don't do the first 3 deals that are presented to you because you're still unsure. But guess what? You're in the game. You're now looking at opportunities. You're getting more confident as you look at more opportunities. You're now able to see some nuances and red flags that you want to stay away from. Everybody's criteria for lending or partnering is different. So make sure that you know what you want to do with your money. That's your hard-earned money. So make sure that you are doing deals that make sense for you and for your end goals. So let's simplify the difference between these two strategies. A private lender provides capital and receives a defined return. A private partner participates in ownership and shares the outcome, whether it's good or bad. A lender's return is predictable. A partner's return depends on the success of the project. Neither is better. They simply serve different purposes. Okay, so let's think about it like this. Let's use an example of a fix and flip. So say the property is 500K, somebody has to purchase it. They need $50,000 in renovation costs. And don't think about closing costs. Let's eliminate all of the complicated stuff. Let's just say after that 50K is put into the property will resell for 650,000. No real estate agent involved, nothing. So that leaves us $100,000 spread, right? Okay, say you have a really great fix and flipper. They have a bunch of experience. They know what they're doing. They flip 5 houses a month. They've been doing it for over 20 years. Their numbers are usually spot on. Now, as a private lender, you can say, I'll lend you this 50,000 for a 10% return in the 3 or 4 months that it takes you to turn this property over. And with that, you go ahead and you get $55,000 back. 10% of the 50,000 is $5,000. So in 4 months, you've made $5,000 on your 50. That's a great return in a very short amount of time. Now, say I want to be a private money partner. And I say, if I lend you this 50,000, I want 40% of the equity that comes out on the back end. Now, if the project goes terribly wrong, you may walk away with nothing. You may walk away with only the 50K that you put in. But if the property goes right, you'll walk away with 90K. So you just made 40 grand from partnering and saying, hey, let me manage the project. Let me be your boots on the ground. It's in my backyard. I'll check on your guys for you. But I know you really need this money and you're a little bit over leveraged and the banks won't lend to you. I want 40% of the profits on the back end. Now, sometimes you can win really big. Sometimes you can lose big, but it depends on your end goal as a private money partner or private money lender. I hope that was helpful. You can make the choice, but at the end of the day, it depends on how the project did to make sure that the money comes out. So one of the biggest shifts in thinking about wealth is realizing this: capital and opportunity are rarely owned by the same person. Some people have money. Some people have deals. Some people have time and expertise. And wealth tends to emerge when those pieces align. Most of the people that have one of these things don't like doing the other parts. So don't think that you have nowhere to fit in. If you have the money, I'm sure somebody would love to make you their private lender or partner. If you have deals, bring them to me. I don't like looking for deals, but I like to buy deals. You see how that works? Somebody always wants what you have, and someone may be better at doing the things that you don't like doing. So it works out in the end. And the people who understand this start seeing opportunities everywhere. Find your lane and stay in it. If this conversation is making you realize that deals involve more structure than you expected, that's actually a good thing. Because most mistakes happen when people try to figure this out alone. In Creative Finance 101, it's an e-course we have. We walk you through how to identify opportunities using free lead sources online and bringing those opportunities to our team so you can learn while you earn, and we'll help you get them to the finish line. No pressure, just structure. And if for people thinking bigger than just one deal, if your goal is to build wealth, to build a strategy that moves you beyond the paycheck and into ownership, that's what Beyond the Paycheck is for. And that's an on-demand webinar where you can learn how to invest passively and exactly what you need to do to break free from the paycheck trap. Different rooms, different levels, but the same direction. Next week, we're going deeper into partnerships because raising capital is just one skill, but structuring roles correctly is another. And many deals don't fail because of money. They fail because the roles were never aligned in the first place. Same world, different results. If you haven't already, make sure you click the subscribe button, share this with a friend, share this with another partner so you guys can go start raising private capital for your next deal. See y'all next time.